Pacifism in fiction bothers me.
I lost it.
We cast kindred shadows. Have you not seen the news?
I don't harm people.
The other what?
You have what it takes to be a true warrior. I have no enemies.
William Dafoe's Green Goblin is not only one of my favorite Spider-Man movie villains ever, he also has some of the most thought-provoking lines that I've heard.
I chose my path, you chose the way of the hero. And they found you amusing for a while.
Surprisingly, I'd argue that his single best line isn't found in the original Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy, but in Spider-Man No Way Home.
Strong enough to have it all.
Too weak to take it!
Strong enough to have it all, too weak to take it. I interpret this scene as Green Goblin viewing Spider-Man as being physically strong enough and more importantly mentally strong enough to have whatever he wants. But his moral compass and his choice to always do what he thinks is right makes him too weak to take everything he could have. And let's be honest, Green Goblin in this scene, at least to an extent, is right. If Peter chose to listen to Doctor Strange earlier on during Spider-Man No Way Home, and actually agreed to send all of these psychotic villains back to their own universes, then his Aunt May wouldn't have been killed. Alternatively, if Peter chose to do whatever he needed to in order to permanently stop Green Goblin from carrying out his plans, then Aunt May also wouldn't have been killed, proving that pacifism isn't a solution to your problems, it's a privilege. Hey guys, I'm Crow, and today I thought it'd be interesting if we covered a topic that I've never openly voiced my opinion on before. We're going to be investigating the philosophies of a couple of problematic fictional characters and their writers in order for me to explain why pacifism in fiction has always bothered me. Gotham is undeniably home to some of the most dangerous criminals in all of fiction, yet paradoxically, the man that stands between them and tragedy is one who refuses to ever take a life. Batman is by no means a pure pacifist. He is willing to do whatever it takes to stop his foes, whether that means forcing them into Arkham or breaking every single bone in their body, then so be it. But he draws the line at permanently putting them down. Bruce Wayne believes that everybody deserves a second chance at life, even if they're a crazy clown, a roided up wrestler, or a petty thief. Of course, Batman existing for as long as he has means that there are definitely iterations of a character that have slipped up over the years. Batman as a concept has been refined with time to symbolize true justice, and similarly to our modern day justice system, he believes that one man shouldn't be the judge, jury, and executioner. The real question is, how many times does Joker need to escape Arkham Asylum? How many innocent people does he need to torture and kill in order for Batman to see that justice literally isn't being served? Well, the answer is over 6,000.
No more! All the people I've murdered by letting you live.
I never kept count.
I did.
See you in hell.
The first two seasons of Invincible are perfect in so many ways. On top of both seasons 1 and 2 featuring genuinely mind-boggling fight scenes, the show did an amazing job showcasing the unsettling similarities between Mark Grayson and his father Nolan. Invincible is filled to the brim with thought-provoking and psychologically tormented characters like Mark Grayson himself. His hope to remain a pacifist was born out of his fear of turning out just like his father, someone that he learned was merciless and had no problem with taking the lives of whoever got in his way. Mark would of course reject his father's way of approaching situations, but each time that he would refuse to take the lives of one of his enemies, the show would make a point to show that Mark's philosophy to never take a life in every situation was wrong. Mark fails to contain Doc Seismic, the Lizard League, and Angstrom Levy during their first encounters, forcing his family, friends, and the general public to pay the price. By the end of season 2, Mark would at least accept the position that he's in, and how important it is for him to master his abilities. Whether or not Mark will be willing to accept the fact that he'll most likely be forced to reconsider his values in order for him to effectively fend off the Viltrumites remains to be seen.
It makes no sense to beat someone when you're trying to negotiate for peace.
I have no enemies. Words left with Thorfinn by his father Thors, right before he met his tragic end at the hands of a vicious Viking named Askeladd. The phrase isn't necessarily implying that there wouldn't be people in this world who hate you or intend to do you harm. The phrase is pleading with the listener that in the midst of conflict, you hold on to the fact that you were born into this world without any enemies. Therefore, there shouldn't be a reason for you to have to resort to violence and revenge. Instead of viewing those who fight against you as enemies, see them as obstacles and overcome them. Vinland Saga is easily one of my favorite animes of all time, and for those of you who've watched season 2, you're most likely confused considering the theme of this video. For those of you who haven't checked this series out yet, Vinland Saga follows Thorfinn, a young boy who, like I mentioned earlier, loses his father to a Viking named Askeladd. What I didn't mention earlier is the fact that Thorfinn would decide to basically join Askeladd's crew until he would be strong enough to take him down once and for all in a duel. Season 1 of Vinland Saga is action-packed. Thorfinn, driven by rage and the dream of restoring honor to his father's name, takes the lives of hundreds of people, and the vast majority of them was shockingly done on Askeladd's very command. Askeladd would constantly taunt Thorfinn, all while calling him out on his stupidity, but this wouldn't change anything within Thorfinn's mind. Things take a drastic turn when Askeladd sacrifices himself at the end of season 1 in order for him to secure the safety of his people and his political interests. This of course would force Thorfinn to reevaluate his entire life. This was a ridiculously exciting finale for the first season of the series, and to top it all off, the final episode was given the title End of a Prologue, promising us fans that the best was yet to come. Makoto Yukimura, the writer of Vinland Saga, revealed that he wanted to create a new type of shonen hero, one that doesn't resort to violence to solve all of his problems, and thus he made Thorfinn. Season 2 of Vinland Saga is practically unrecognizable from the first season. After losing his father and his mentor, Thorfinn would become a husk of his former self, a man who would choose the path of pacifism instead of violence whenever he could. And for a while, I think that Makoto Yukimura managed to pull this sudden shift in tone off flawlessly. It made complete sense that Thorfinn would eventually come around and learn to live the way that his father would have wanted him to live. Except Thors wasn't always a pacifist. It was confirmed that the guy killed thousands of other Vikings and innocent people during his time as the Troll of Drom. Up until the birth of his daughter in Iceland, Thors only became a pacifist after years of living in peace without the constant threat of war, because he literally knocked off every single one of his enemies. The point of this video isn't for me to prove that pacifism is always wrong in fiction. The point is to show you proof that it's heavily flawed. If Thors was alive and was in Thorfinn's situation, I highly doubt that he'd choose to play dress up by living as a slave and completely abandon his family, because as far as Thorfinn knows, his family is still very much alive and is worried sick about him. Pacifism is a privilege, and Thorfinn shouldn't have given up defending himself for the sole reason of feeling bad about his past actions during the height of a massive war. Pacifism in fiction is boring at best and genuinely harmful at worst. I think that there should be conditions for pacifism. I'm not saying that Batman should just snap every criminal's neck that he comes across. A second chance at life is fine, but he absolutely should not be giving any of them over 10 chances to change their ways. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and please consider subscribing. Help your boy reach 2,000 subscribers so you can finally afford more than ramen noodles. Thanks for watching, take care.